All right, hello, and today's webinar is Introduction to CINAHL. I'm just going to go over the basics of CINAHL, the interface, and how it works. And I'm Megan Bell. I'm one of the librarians at UAB. So in this workshop, you'll learn why is it important to search CINAHL, so when would you use it? We'll talk about how to build a basic search in CINAHL by developing search concepts, and how to use and, or, and not to connect those search concepts. So CINAHL is a database for nursing and allied health, mostly nursing. It has a lot of nursing journals in it, but it has some of the other health professions as well. So it includes over 3,600 journals, and the time frame is from 1937 to present. So in order to access CINAHL, you have to start from the library's homepage. If you just go to Google and just type in CINAHL, you may get to something. I'm not sure what interface you'll get to, but you won't be able to access all the features you should be able to access. So you have to access it through our homepage. And when we go live, I'll show you how to actually get to it. But yeah, just keep that in mind. You have to start on the library's homepage, and then you go to our database list, and then you can get to it from there. If you're off campus, you'll be prompted to put in your Blazor ID and password in order to access the database. So the first few slides, I'm going to just show you screenshots of the interface and point out certain buttons that I think are really useful to be aware of and to know how to use. And then we'll go over creating a search. And then I'll go live and I'll do a live demonstration using the database. So this is a basic search feature. So if you just need to do like a really quick search, you can use this particular feature. It's what you see by default when you first open the database. And this is the search box right here where it says search articles, books, journals, and more. And notice the name of the database is right here. So it's telling you are searching the CINAHL Plus with full text database. There are several different, like within CINAHL, there are several different types of the database or different levels of the database. And so this is the feature that we have. This is the option that we have. So when you're using the search, you can, if you want to limit to peer-reviewed articles, you can click this button and you'll limit to that. I know that's usually really important for the students. Often they'll contact us and say, I have to have some peer-reviewed articles. So that's a quick way to do it. You can put in your search terms in the search box, and you can click peer-reviewed, and that way you know the results you're seeing, they're only peer-reviewed articles. So that can kind of help save time. Also, another common thing we often hear students say is, well, it has to be within the last 5 years. So this is a quick filter that you can use to limit your search to only the last 5 years or whatever time limit you need to limit it to. So that's a way to do that. I want to point out this full text feature. I don't recommend using that full text feature because that's not necessarily telling you what you have access to at UAB, right? I think that's like more of a general feature of this database where there are some PDFs that may be, or links that may be available by default within this particular database. But because of our subscriptions at UAB, we probably have access to more than this. So I don't recommend, if you need to get the full text of something, I don't recommend using that. I recommend just doing your search, and then you'll see an option for you to get the full text of the article and just kind of go from there. Because your options are, first, we have access to things through our subscriptions. That's more than what this database by default may have. And then number two, even if we don't have immediate access to it, we do have a service called Interlibrary Loan, and they work pretty fast. Usually you'd be able to get the results probably within the same day, depending on what time you place the order, and if not, probably by the next day. So they're pretty fast, and you'll still be able to get the full text. So I do not recommend using this button, but I do recommend using these two buttons. If you know you need peer-reviewed articles, you have a certain time limit, and you're just doing a quick search. So this is the advanced search feature. So I'm gonna go back. So this is the basic search that you see by default, and then notice in this to the right, it says advanced search. So if you wanted to do a more advanced search, you can click this button and it'll take you to this screen. So now you see more boxes so you can build out your search. You also see options for different fields. So that would be, for example, like the title or the abstract or some of the other fields that are there. And when we go live, I can show you the boxes and so you can see what options are available. But if you want to tell the database where to search for your words, like a very specific place to search for your words, this is where you can do that. And then you can use these boxes here. This drop down menu is going to say and or, and I think it may say not as well. And so that's that. Those are tools to help you either expand or limit your search. And we'll talk more about that in a few slides. And then at the bottom, here are filters. So you can use this to limit your search. So you can limit it by, language, you can limit it by, peer reviewed, if you only want research articles. And then if you scroll down, you'll see a lot of other options that you can use to filter your search or to limit your search. So that's an option that you can use. These things here, we're not going to go over this in detail today, but I'm just going to point them out to you. So search options, there's some programming going on in the background, and this button, this tab controls that. You can use that to kind of control what's going on in the background of your search. Publications, this is a list of the publications that are included in this database. So if you know you only want to search a very specific publication, you can use this tab to limit your search to that publication. And CINAHL headings are labels that are attached to the articles that are in CINAHL. So it's similar to, if you're familiar with mesh terms in PubMed, this is the mesh equivalent that's in CINAHL. So someone has read those articles and said, this article is about this particular concept, and those labels are listed in this tab. So if you want to add CINAHL headings to your search, this is where you would do it. This is where you would look for the CINAHL headings. But in today's session, we're not going over CINAHL headings. Now, once you have your search results, I want to point out some features that you'll see. So one is, again, this is a very popular thing when it comes to students often contact us and they'll say, I have to have peer-reviewed articles. So this is a quick way you can look at your results and you can determine whether it's a peer-reviewed articles. You'll see a label at the very top of your results, of each result, that lets you know whether it's peer-reviewed or not. And then also at the very top, you see the total number of results that you're getting. Now, another thing I want to point out is that you'll see here are more ways to limit your search. So this is a list of all the filters, things you can use to limit your search, like language, things like that. And then again, you also have that peer reviewed button that you can quickly press to limit your results to peer reviewed. This is a publication dates. So if you want to limit it within a certain time period, like a certain number of years, 5 years, 10 years, or a custom range. You could do that from using this button. And source type, now this is the type of article it is. Like, for example, is it a academic journal? Is it a magazine article? Is it, what is it? Is it a continuing education unit? There are a lot of different, is it a book? Is it a dissertation? Is it a thesis? Things like that. So there are 7 different types of items that are within CINAHL. So this is where you can limit your search and to say that I only want like journal articles, or I only want, whatever it is you're looking for. You can do that from there. And this is like when you need to share your results. So you can download, if you want to download the PDF, you can use this little icon. If you want to save your results temporarily, you can click this little like bookmark option. It'll save it during your session. So if the database times out, you'll lose it. Or if you close your browser, you'll lose it. So the only way to save it long term is you can create a project and put it in a folder, and you can label that folder, and you can create a collection of items, and you can always come back to that later. Now, if you want to save something long term, you're going to be required to create an account with EBSCO. It's free to create an account with them. And this is separate from your UAB Blazer ID and password, your UAB account. This is something separate that you create. So you create your own username, your own password for it. But then once you do that, whenever you want to, go back to that database and log back in, you can access your results from that project. And then also you can share things. If you use this little arrow icon, you can share things. You can share them either, you can email to yourself or someone else. You can also create a link that you can send again to yourself or someone else. And then they'll be able to, when they have that link, they'll be able to link directly to that article that you're sending them. You can also share using Google Drive or OneDrive. You can send it directly to your Google Drive or OneDrive from the database. And the little quotation marks, you can use that to download or copy an article citation. So let's say you're have a post you need to make in Canvas. You can use this feature and you have to like cite things in Canvas or whatever. You can use this feature if you're citing this particular article, and it'll give you a box and you can copy, and it has a drop down menu with multiple options on different citation styles, and you can select the citation style that you need, and then you can copy that particular citation and post it into, put it in your paper or put it in Canvas or whatever you need to use it for. You can also use that if you are using a citation manager, so such as EndNote or Mendeley or Zotero, and you can download the citations, and it will either go directly into your citation manager or it'll go to your downloads folder, and then you can send it to your citation manager. So both things, you can directly copy the citations, or you can send the citations to an EndNote, to a citation manager, so that you can use them later. And then on the left, recent activity, if you want to go back and look at your search history, this is where you do that. So you just look to the left of the screen, and you'll see something that says recent activities, and that's where you can see the searches that you've done. So next we're going to talk about how to build a search. Oh, great, I have PubMed. It should say CINAHL. But we're going to talk about how to build a search in CINAHL. So the first thing you should do is identify what your main ideas are. So whatever your topic is, just figure out what are the most important concepts that you want to make sure that any article you retrieve has information on that topic. The next thing you do is you take those words and you put them in the search box. And then you combine those terms using the connectors and, or, and sometimes not. And then you can use, after you're getting results, you can use the filters to help you narrow your results down, to help you focus your results more. And then you can add citations to your collections, or you can export them to a citation manager if you want to save them for later. So here's an example of and, or, and not. So we're going to need this when we build out our search. So these are tools to help you either expand or restrict your search. So you use or to help you expand your search. So if I want articles that talk about either diabetes or stroke, I'm going to use OR in between those terms. If I want to limit my search, then I can use either and or not. So if I want to find articles that have to talk about both diabetes and stroke, I'm going to use and. So they have to use both of those terms. And if you use not carefully, but you use it when you have a broader topic and there's a subset that you know you don't want, and then you would use not. So let's try an example. Let's say my topic is, let's say I want to do a search on the pediatric population, but I'm concerned that, like, I know that every author may not always say pediatric, okay? They may use other terms such as child or children, child, children, neonate, infant, things like that. What term, can you please tell me in the chat box, what word would I use? Which of these terms would I use? Because I want to expand my search to make sure I catch any of those terms that may be used.
Do you want people to put it in chat?
You can either put it in chat or you can say it.
Megan, what was your question? I'm sorry.
So the question is, if I'm doing a search and the search is about the pediatric population, and I'm concerned because I want to make sure, I realize that every author in their title and in their abstract, they may not say pediatric. They may say children, they may say child, they may say neonate, they may say infant. And I want to include all of those terms in my search. Which term do I use, and or not? Yes, it will be or, right? So I use or to expand. Whenever you want to expand, you're going to use or. Okay. So let's say I'm doing a search and I want to find information on using metformin to treat diabetes in African Americans. Okay. And I need to make sure that I address each part of my search. So I guess first of all, what are the words, what are the key words that I'm going to put in the search box of the database? That'll be the first thing. So the topic is, I want to know about using metformin to treat prediabetes in African Americans. Yes, so our main ideas are metformin, well, it'd be pre-diabetes, and African Americans. So we have our population, we have the condition we're looking for, and we have the drug, right? So those are the three things we're looking for. And because I want to make sure any article I retrieve addresses all three, I am going to use and in between each term. Okay. So the next one, let's say, for example, I am interested in finding articles about, does using animal assisted therapy or animal assisted therapy help with motivation in pediatric patients, right? But I know I do not want to have, I want to exclude, um equine therapy. Which term would I use? So I know I want animal assisted therapy, but I want to exclude equine therapy. Not equine. Very good. Not equine therapy. Excellent. All right. So here's our topic. All right, so building a search by developing search concepts. So the topic is that there's a patient with gallbladder, has called gallbladder issues, and this patient wants to know whether going vegan or vegetarian will help with his gallbladder. So the first thing is, what are our main ideas? Like, what topics do, when we look in a database, that we want to make sure the articles are talk about? When we retrieve articles, they talk about certain, what topics do we want to make sure they talk about? Okay, yeah, great. So we definitely want to make sure they discuss gallbladder, and we want them to talk about, vegan or vegetarian. Excellent. Now, one more thing I want to point out, yeah, this here. Topics, gallbladder, vegan, vegetarian. Those are our topics. So think about math. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. What was the P for? Parentheses, excellent. And what did the parentheses tell you in a math equation? What does the parentheses tell you? Exactly. Perform first or group together. Exactly. So same thing when it comes to a database. Whenever you're going to use or, always group those together with a parentheses. So it would be open parentheses, vegan or vegetarian, close parentheses, and gallbladder. So just keep that in mind. All right. So now we're going to go live to CINAHL. So first of all, how to access it. So you can just go to the library's website. Okay. And then from here, you go to our database list. And you can just, it's arranged alphabetically. So you could click C and scroll down. But I'm going to just type in the name of the database here. I'm going to click enter. So here's the database. And I click on this to access it. And if I were off campus, it would have asked me to put in my Blazor ID and password. And then I also would have had to do O2 if you're off campus. So this is the default screen you come to, the basic screen. And you can do a search here. And let's say I wanted to do a search on, let's see. And if I know I only want peer-reviewed articles, I can say peer-reviewed, click that button, and all time, the drop-down menu, I can say within the last year, within the last 5 years, last 10 years. I'll just do last 10 years. I don't know if I'm gonna get anything. And then you click enter or search box. And I didn't get anything. Let's see if I don't say so. All right, so now I'm getting some periodicals, but they're not peer-reviewed. If I knew I definitely wanted peer-reviewed, we're not going to get into this, but some things you could do if that happens to you, is you can expand your search and you can add in like synonyms to expand your search. That's one thing you could do. Let me try something different. Oops. Okay, so I have my topics, I have and peer review last 10 years. So I have these filters. So I can click filter, and then I have more filters I can use. So language, age, gender, geography, I can use any of these to help limit my search. I can go to advanced search. And where it says all fields, so here are the different fields. You can tell to search in very specific places, title, if you're looking for a very specific author, any of these options, you can tell it to search in those specific places. And to use this, I could say, so I'm gonna do this. So metformin, and I use the and here, and then this drop-down menu, and or not. So I could have had it on one line, or I could separate it out and have it on multiple lines. And click search. And if I select something, now I see these options. I could download this particular article. I could save it for later. I could add it to a project. If I try to add it to a project, it's going to ask me to log in to my account. I could share it. So I can share it to Google Drive. I can create a link. And if I send this link to anyone, they will be able to access the article. So I'm going to copy the clipboard and so here's a different browser. And if I paste that link in this browser, it takes me to the article. So you can send that to someone and they'll get the article you're referring them to. And you can also email it to yourself or someone else. You can use the cite feature. And this is what I said about you can copy this. So they have these different options on the style. You can select the style that you want. So if I want APA, and now it puts it in APA, and I could copy this and paste it into a Word document or to, Canvas or whatever. Or if I need to export it into a citation manager, I select export, and then I could use this feature, and it'll either go to my downloads folder or it'll go directly to my citation manager. Um, I'm not sure whether it will work for someone who isn't a UAB faculty because this is a subscription database. So I would say if you want to send it to someone who isn't UAB, I recommend downloading it and just emailing it to them. Because if you send them that link, it's probably going to ask them, I'm assuming this link, let me look at this link. I'm not sure. I don't see our proxy in here, but it may ask someone, like I'm on campus right now, but it may ask someone to like log in with their Blazer ID and password. And so if their institution didn't have the particular resource, it may not work for them. So anyway, if it's someone who's not UAB affiliated, I recommend just downloading it and emailing it to them. All right, one more thing, want to show you recent activity. So this keeps track of all the searches that you've done. And so you can see what you've done, and you can always go back to a search. And you can use this option to save that search. So just like you can save particular articles, you can save a search. If you did a really good search and you're getting good results, you can save that search and use it again later. You can also add searches together. I mean, it's not going to work for what I have here, but you could add search S8 and S9 together. It should let you do it, but I'm not seeing it. Let me show you again. Let me go back. Let me try this. Okay, so now I'm going to go to recent history. And so, all right, so it's this one and this one. Let's see. It's not, let me try it up here. Okay, it doesn't work that way. So recent activity only lets you can see the searches that you've done in the past, and you can also save them. All right, any questions? All right, well, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us and we can help you with that. Well, that concludes today's webinar, and hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.